Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hajj, a Levite prophet, a representative of the Seven Thunders, and a priest of the Abrahamic Covenant. This is Up Late Update with Malik Hajj. This is where we take current events and get the understanding of them from the unsealed perspective, the unsealed scriptures, and we give you the understanding of how they fit with what's taking place in today's time. Okay? Excuse me. Need a little. Now, we're going to go and begin with our first topic. It's a lot of things going on, so just surfing through and picking out just tons of things to look at, to report on. But however, we're going to take this Jackson water crisis. Spurs call to bring the federal hammer down on Mississippi. Now, let's read this. And for the brothers and sisters that really, that still have a misunderstanding of where you stand at, a misunderstanding of how things really still are when it comes to the black man and woman in America. So call it how you want to, but we're gonna run it past you, and we're gonna let you know from what's taking place, how it really is. Okay. Advocacy groups that see racial bias as a major cause of the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, are debating new strategies for taking the Republican-controlled state government out of the lead role when it comes to steering federal spending in its capital city. Now, wait a minute. Let's just keep going. Those tactics could include filing a federal civil rights complaint accusing the state of shortchanging the black majority city of 150,000 people when distributing federal water infrastructure dollars. Another option under consideration people involved in decisions said is getting Congress to steer additional water funding to Jackson without Mississippi's involvement, a sharp change from the central role states traditionally play in distributing these kinds of dollars. And then there is what advocates dub the nuclear option, pushing the Environmental Protection Agency to revoke the state's authority to carry out enforcement of Federal Safe Drinking Water Act. EPA would then oversee Mississippi more than 1,000 drinking water system directly, something it now does only in Wyoming and the District of Columbia. That would put the federal government in charge of not just distributing federal dollars, but also inspecting the system's infrastructure and ensuring water quality meets federal standards. All those strategies will face daunting obstacles, and it's unclear that the Biden administration is even willing to entertain the last one. But civil rights and environmental justice groups say it's urgent that Washington take a far more direct role in ensuring safe drinking water in Jackson after 3 years of federal regulator pressing state to and local officials to address the city's ailing utility system. Above all, they say that means wresting control over finding decisions away from the state. The group has questions whether the Republican-controlled state deliberately withheld water funding for Jackson, a city that is 82% black and has a disproportionate share of low-income residents. State officials have blamed the city for mismanaging the system, and Mississippi Republican government Tate Reeves last year said that the city needed to do a better job of collecting their water bill payments before they start going and asking everyone else to pony up money. The state is in a place. It's got a lot of power to either make things easier for black communities or to make things harder. And what we feel like has happened is Mississippi is that the state has used the power to make things harder for black folks. Said Aubrey Corner, Director of Environmental and Climate Justice with the NAACP. Yeah, so it's more to this, but however, we're not going to do all that reading. No. The bottom line is it's an 85% black city. The whites have moved out. This is not an overnight problem that exists. This has been going on for some time. This is the thing, and another thing that stuck out. The thing that stuck out. They said this is Jackson, Mississippi is the capital city. So this is the capital, but it's black. And this is Mississippi. Ooh. Mississippi, goddamn. You know, Mississippi always been Mississippi. This is, where we going with this. This black city, the capital city, and because whites moved out, they don't want nothing to do with it. So they didn't just, basically, they have the right to go in. They didn't pull the funding like they do a lot of black cities. Me living in one. We know how they pull funding and push funding all around. This is America. This is America. America is still, America is America. And it still moves like America. No matter what year it is, you in Mississippi. And they not going out their way to help no black people. Don't have a black community. They didn't move out of the capital city because there's too many blacks in it. They don't want to be by they don't want to be by the blacks. They moved on out. And they ain't suffering no water problems. And they're not looking into assistance. And they had a nerve to say, get your water payments. Are you for real? Make sure the city's paying the payment. How now? That's a smack in the face as well, because you can say a lot of things about black people, but damn it, we pay the bills. Black people pay their bills. They might be a little late, but they get that money in there. A lot of times they on time. But they get that's BS. This is way more past getting a bill paid. This is far past that. This is an infrastructure problem. This is a governmental problem. And the people are suffering. But understand this. brothers and sisters. That's why you got to understand what time we're living in and understand the Holocaust, the Abrahamic covenant, the 400 years that we've been afflicted here in this strange land. Mississippi, this country hasn't changed its infrastructure, its the way it moves. And you're in one of those states. This ain't nothing new for Mississippi. So, brothers and sisters, you got to understand. That's why they're being judged now, because of the conditions that they put you in. You got to, we cannot, that's why we got to get up, take this truth that you've been given, and prepare to get up out of here, because this is it. I don't care how you try to cut it. This is America, the fabric of it. And Mississippi will show you. Mississippi is one of them states that'll show you in a heartbeat that this is a white man's country. Now let us move on to the next topic. Just keeping it real with you. I had to bring that topic. We can start off with that, because that's exactly, they had a nerve that really got to make sure your people paying a bill. What? Before you need to pony up. What? If that ain't some cracker talk, boy. Let's go to the next. Brothers and sisters, heaping coals on their head while they talking. Just keep it up. Keep it up. Still without water. Damn. Far into a month now. Man. All right. Now, wait a minute. I'm gonna go do one more before I get into this. Well, we got a couple. So all right, let's do this one, because this is also implying. Well, all right, let's do that. Europe's energy. Hold up. Europe's energy system has become a market that doesn't function, Spanish Prime Minister says. That doesn't function. Europe is becoming mirrored so deep in a mounting energy crisis that policy overhauls, once thought impossible, are quickly becoming necessary. Officials are warning. The invasion of Ukraine and Russia, President Vladimir Putin willingness to cut the natural gas supply to Europe has sparked a crisis on the continent, with soaring utility bills, rationed electricity, and public unrest. But while Putin may have provoked the crisis, it has also revealed cracks in Europe's energy system, including an over-reliance on Russia for energy imports. The European leaders are warning that big changes will be required if the continent is to move on from current its current predicament. The European energy system has now become a market that doesn't function. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told politicians this week during the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. Sanchez insisted that Europe should keep focusing on two things to combat the energy crisis, containing its commitment to transitioning toward renewable energy and adopting more centralized and block-wide approaches to containing energy prices. Despite some countries reopening shattered fossil fuel power plants, reopening shattered fossil fuel power plants to cope with the crisis. Sanchez insisted that European countries should not pause their efforts to switch away from coal towards cleaner energy sources. Don't use the energy crisis to block moving forward on the climate crisis, Sanchez said in a plea to have fellow European leaders. Countries including Spain and Italy have managed to generate record amounts of electricity from renewable energy this year, despite the gas crunch, while Germany also broke records for solar power generation this week. A report from the UN Economic Commission for Europe warned that a failure from governments to refocus on renewable energy in the midst of the current crisis would hurt Europe's energy reliance in the long run and lead to even higher costs. Sanchez also suggested that Europe move on from currently splintered model of energy policies and prices mechanisms where different countries can have vastly different natural gas price that affects electricity costs and pivot towards a more centralized approach, one reminiscence of how the EU bloc adopted a centralized model of vaccine per procurement during the height of COVID-19 vaccine, the COVID-19 pandemic. Learning from the pandemic model, why doesn't we centralize gas purchases as we did with vaccine? Sanchez said. Now, the thing about that is, the reason why I pull that up is, he said, the market that doesn't function is Europe's energy system has become a market that doesn't function. So this Russian crunch of stopping the flow of natural gas and oil from Russia to Europe, they're still trying to pull things any kind of way to make sure that they're going to have some type of energy, at least to keep from freezing to death, keep from keeping the people froze or cold this winter. However, they are in a serious predicament. They talk about, and they saying they got a lot of this and that, and Spanish and Spain and Italy has a lot of electricity energy. However, they have electric energy somewhat. However, they've been having Spain, Italy, Europe has been in a drought all year. Water levels are low. They're been hit. Their agriculture has been hit hard this year, and the water, they call those the water turbines that a lot of these countries use, they've been turned off because it hasn't been a lot of water, so that their water levels are low. So even with having electricity, you need oil to move these cars. You need gas to move your cars. You're going to need some gas. And what is it? the area to where, what is it now? Not Greenland, but can't think of it. Area that a lot of Russian oil goes to, and they buy from that area, but it's still Russian gas line, Russian oil. It's I think of it. However, with Russia cutting these things off, they're not going to be able to go to that area where they used to get their oil from and get that oil and that gas. Now, the situation, they're trying to act as if they have it under control, but they know they don't. They're telling you, if the system is, if you see that you're having this predicament early in the year, just wait. You're having problems now with shortages. What is it? Cutbacks, rationings. If that's taking place now, and with how things are going, they're looking around trying to fix something, and I have another. It's a lot of things going on. They're trying to fix the problem, but it's piling up. It's piling up. It's coming so fast up on them. It's like you trying to fix a problem that's going, but the problem's getting worse by the day. It's piling up on you, and you see it. And you're trying to react, but you can't react, so you getting backed up. Say you're on the assembly line, and you backed up. You down 10. You get one done, it's another 10 already lined up. So the problems is piling up on them, and they see that what they see down the line, they know that they have a serious problem on their hands, and they're trying to act like they have control of it, and they're trying to tell their people, well, we're going to implement this. A lot of things that they have to do to even put some of these things back online. First of all, they got to get the system back up and running. So that's going to take a month or so. You got to get the workers back in there. You got to get the system pushing this energy back out. You got to do a lot of things. So you talking about a week? So those things coming down the assembly line is just stacking up over there, stacking up, and you can't shut it off because time in this system, time waits for no man. It's happening. It's already, the problem is already existing. So they're going to have to try to fix this scenario in motion, and they see that what's coming. They don't know how to deal, and they see that their economy is being affected, and they see what's going to happen down the road, how it's going to affect their economy. What, it get cold, you can't open up schools, you don't have enough energy to open up businesses. A lot of businesses are going out of business already. You're not going to be able to, companies are go out of business. So that means people are not going to have money. They can't go to work. They might have an unemployment check or whatnot for a while, but it's going to be less than what they're getting. So either the government's going to have to take on the bills. It's a fact. So it's just showing you how all these things I mean, are accumulating on Europe, and they said they're letting you know that what said unrest, public unrest. So they're having it's a problem with the people. They're coming unrest. They're coming restless. And as the unsealed scripture said, the people are going to raise up and complain to the government. Wait a minute. When the situation comes to a head and it's cold and people's children are freezing, and as you see, they're trying to now they're attacking, they are assisting in this war against Russia. They're damn near outright in the opening. And I'm talking about all these European nations are starting to attack Russia. Period. They're not even hiding the fact that they're all coming after Russia now, because they know that they can see, oh Lord, if this happens, they see the bag up and the effect that they have coming when the weathers get cold, and they're having public arrests right now, and the public's going to get upset. But this is what is to happen in the plan anyway. A backfire. This is going to be the backfire on America, because America has already spent billions of dollars. See, all these things that's taking place. Did you? It's kind of what? Wait, it's so. That's that. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Now, let me check our time. Gotta move quick. Now, okay. I do just a touch of this because it's the same thing, pretty much, but it's a little it's analysis. Europe energy crisis may deepen with looming liquidity crunch. Now, we're if we can get back, and I'll go into that, but we're gonna pass that up. And let's get into this. Now this is two, but they only we're gonna do the Iran West at odds. However, listen. U.S. to remain engaged on Iran deal, on the nuclear deal at UN. Okay. UN as UN prepares equally for Plan B. U.S. to remain engaged on Iran deal as UN prepares equally for Plan B. So you're just gonna marinate on that right there for a hot second. There remain, listen to that. Listen to what's been shared. U.S. to remain engaged on Iran deal as UN prepares equally for Plan B. So, before we go into it, we're going to read the odds. Now, this is here we are. Let's get it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Iran West at odds. U.S. sees no breaking on nuclear deal. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's say that again. Let's see. Okay. Let's do this. I feel like this then. For some reason. Okay. This isn't what I wanted, however they. Okay, it's one that has, and it's within the last 15 hours. So, okay. French President Emmanuel Macron is to meet his Iranian counterpart at the UN General Assembly in New York as Paris warns the Tehran regime that it will not get a better opportunity to revive a disputed nuclear accord. The Elysee Palace said Macron will meet President Ibrahim Raisi on Tuesday on the sideline of the UN General Assembly in New York. The French leader will meet U.S. President Joe Biden the following day. We'll see what this week brings, French Foreign Minister Catherine Colin, Colina, Colina told reporters on Monday, the windows of opportunity seems about to close again. We are repeatedly saying there is no better offer for Iran, she said. It's up to them to make a decision. Raisi, in the interview with CBS News 60 Minutes, said he was open to be a good deal, but pressed for guarantees from Biden that the United States will not again leave the accord under a future leader, a promise that the U.S. administration considered impossible. Former President Donald Trump pulled out on the 2015 nuclear deal, which Iran drastically scaled back nuclear work in return for promises of sanctions relief. The Biden administration says the deal remains the best way to restrict Iran's nuclear program, but has been increasingly pessimistic that Tehran will agree to the compromise negotiated by European Union mediators. Okay. Separately, French Foreign Minister Kathleen Colina on Monday argued urged Iran to take the offer on the table to revive the 2015 nuclear deal, saying the window of opportunity is about to close. Okay. She gave no details, but under the treaty, provisions, the five original nuclear powers, the United States, China, Russia, then the Soviet Union, Britain, and Ford agreed to negotiate towards eliminating their arsenals one day. Nations without nuclear weapons promised not to acquire them in exchange for a guarantee to be eligible to develop nuclear energy for a peaceful purpose. Colonna also had meeting with her counterparts from China, India, and Australia. Relations between Canberra and Paris were badly strained last year when Australia canceled a major submarine deal in favor of U.S. nuclear models. Emmanuel Macron will meet leaders including Britain's new Prime Minister Liz Truss, Pakistan Prime Minister. So that's that. However, we're going to touch on just a second, just one, on Iran West and the West at odds. U.S. sees no breakthrough on nuclear deal at UN. So that's, so That's another that. So that was not exactly where I wanted to go. However, we're gonna speak on that. Uh, Keenan, whatever her name is, Kona. All right. Iran West at odds. U.S. sees no breakthrough on nuclear deal at UN. And Iran West at odds. U.S. sees no breakthrough on nuclear deal at UN. New York, Washington, September 20th. Iran and the West remain at loggerheads on Tuesday over UN probes of uranium traces and these Iranian at 3 Iranian sites, as the United States said it did not expect a breakthrough on reviving the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal at this week's UN General Assembly. Tehran has pushed Washington to commit to closing investigations by the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, into uranium traces found at these undeclared sites before it will fully implement a proposed deal to revive the nuclear pact. Okay. The United States and its partners, however, rejected that stance, arguing that the investigation can only conclude when Iran has satisfactory answer to the Vienna-based UN agency. Resolutions of the investigation is critical to the IAEA, which seeks to ensure parties to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty are not secretly diverting nuclear material which they could use to make a weapon. French President Emmanuel Macron and Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi each laid out familiar positions on the uranium traces issues after their talks during the annual gathering of global leaders in New York. The ball is now in Iran's court, which has to say whether it accepts the conditions that have been set formally by the American and European. I don't know what the hell just. Okay. What's going on here? Something happened. What happened? Give me a second, ma. All right. There we go. All right. That's been set formally by the American and European. Macron told reporters after meeting Rossi, saying the West would not pressure the IAEA to close the probes. Speaking in Washington, White House National Security Advisor Sullivan said he did not expect any breakthrough during this week's UN meeting, but reiterated the U.S. willingness to revive the deal, under which Iran limits its nuclear program in return for economic sanctions relief. However, Rossi said Tehran continues to demand that the IAEA close its investigation, and the United States, which abandoned the nuclear deal in 2018 under President Donald Trump, provide guarantees to limit the effects of its reneging, guaranteed to limit the effects of its reneging again. Iran demands to receive guarantees is a completely, listen to this, completely reasonable and logical demand, Rossi told Macron. According to the Iranian leader's office, we believe that it is not possible to reach an agreement without the IAEA closing its probes. So, okay, check. Now, man, now we gotta look at this time and see where we at, because we're gonna have to, okay, see where we at, man. Now, these is three different ones, but they're all about the same thing. Now, we say it started off with the U.S. They remain engaged on the Iran deal as the UN prepares equally for Plan B. So they're planning, as we keep saying, they're already in the making of Plan B. They already know what's going to take place. They see that it's inevitable. If they tell you one thing and they're telling each other, their allies, they're sharing with false Israel that the plan is off the table, prepare for Plan B. They're all engaged in this. Then you have Macron, and then what's her name? Some Kelowna speaking. This is the best deal. Y'all need to take it while you can. What? That's what kind of pig-headed idiots that they got running. She take this deal. You can't give you're not gonna give a guarantee. You can pull out when you want to, and anybody in their right mind wouldn't trust near one of you, not near one of you countries, none of you. The EU, the America, ain't no trust in you. You pulled out, and then you're gonna tell them to just, well, we can't give you no guarantee. Well, why are we talking? Why are we even talking? You want to set something up, but you can't give no guarantee. and you adding more sanctions for on top of that. So they're trying to literally destroy the infrastructure of this country. And they're using false Israel to destabilize the region. And we basically almost out of time. But before I wrap this up, before I talk any more on this, I'm gonna go into this because this is what's taking place. Be 5 minutes over. I'm gonna get 2 minutes on this. Israel risks crossing Hezbollah red line as it prepares to connect to disputed gas field. Now, I'm gonna give you the quick rundown on this now. Israel now, because of the gas crisis, they're trying to they're speedballing. They're moving fast, trying to, put something together and get it moving so they can try to compensate for Russian oil, Russian pulling out and shutting off his oil. So they're trying to move fast. Now, this deal, listen to this. This deal is supposed to be compromised between they're in talks about this oil rig and U.S. is negotiating these talks between false Israel and Hezbollah. But since things are moving so fast and they're trying to compensate, as I said, things is piling up on the back end. So all these European nations, they're trying to compensate for what's happening. This backlash. So they're going ahead and basically doing what false Israel does. They throwing the finger up. The hell with you. We gonna do it anyway. America's supposed to be handling. See, this is why Iran, not false Israel, America, none of you is to be trusted. Because y'all liars. Y'all liars. Yeah, the devil and the synagogue of Satan. Just liars. And that's all it is. So they're going to, as it says, risk crossing Hezbollah red line. Because false Israel don't care about how they rub nobody, because they are in the Middle East and they got nuclear weapons. They got American made fighter planes. They got all the modern technology out of America and Britain. They got it all. They're sitting up. They're the most powerful by military accessory equipment wise in the region. So they destabilize. They don't care. They torment the Palestinians daily, and they run through. They don't care about doing things right. Yes, they're having talks, but the hell with the talks. We got to, we could have talked it out, but now we need the oil, so we don't care about talking it out. We're going to set this oil thing up. We haven't put anything, we haven't made any quick concessions to say, well, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you this, or we're going to do this. That's not there. They don't agree like that. They don't do nothing like that. false Israel, America, they do what they push their agenda about what they're about. And they're pushing agenda of America is pushing this agenda. The Ukraine giving billions of dollars. The EU, these European nations, they're all in cahoots with what they're doing. Now, all these things is going to backfire on them. And brothers and sisters, that's where if why would you want to stay in a world that is controlled by a people like by these nations, by this Caucasian? Period. Point blank. This there's no peace. There's no justice. This is a sham that they try to cover up people's eyes and mind and try to act like what they're doing is bringing peace and security and justice to nations. Like, can't nobody see what the hell they're really doing, what their minds on, and how controlling and dominating, and they don't give a damn. And Russia is sharing with you. That's why people say, I'm cutting off my oil, I'm cutting off the gas, I'm cutting off the food supply, because you're not, the people that usually get this grains and things, they're not even reaching down there, because the European nations is taking everything. Y'all only worried about yourself. Y'all look like colonial whatever. That's what, y'all like colonial times. Y'all just taking. And the people that usually, ain't nobody crazy. Now, brothers and sisters, you sit up, you clapping, y'all talking about what Russia's doing. I hear idiots, black people. Oh, Russia, what the hell have Russia did to any of you? Any black, Russia's over there. Brothers and sisters, if y'all don't get y'all mind out everything they doing, they gotta they're feeding you what they call it, it ain't nothing but propaganda. Nothing but propaganda. In America, sitting up, acting like they care as they sanctioning people, forcing, and then supplying military, and then telling somebody they can't assist their own people. They sending people over into country, destabilizing country, sending anybody that can't see what kind of beast of people that you dealing with at this time. Yeah. We can't have this. It's time to go. 6,000 years is up. 1619, the 2019, the 400 years is up. The plague broke out. 2020. The JCPOA is off the table, as America say. They're planning for Plan B. They're inserting more. They're not going to give no guarantees. It's over. It's a done deal. The war in the Middle East is going to start any day. It's in your face. It's being shared with you, and I'm sharing with you again. That JCPOA is not going to be revived. They're planning for Plan B, and while they're planning fast. Now, believe me, they've been planning this for what, 2 weeks now on Plan B. Now they said in your face again, as they said, we're still trying to bring this about. Come on now, how? When you're telling the what is it? Mm. When you're telling false Israel, with that is your Middle East, this state, I can't get the word. Your Middle East destabilizer, your switch, your trick wire. That's the trick wire. And they had that trick wire in the Middle East to destabilize. And they sitting there, got their planning, their trick. They got their trick wire over there with false Israel, their false throne. And we're right at that point when this is the abomination of desolation, when Master Fard Muhammad and Iran and Syria are going to war with the dragon and its angels, the house of Saudi Arabia, that is fueling the beast, fueling them. Master Fard Muhammad and Iran and Syria is going to kick America and Britain out the Middle East. And they're going to siege and destroy false Israel. That's the abomination of desolation. The shock of the hour. And it's coming. This is the next. It's any day this war comes. As you hear Plan B's on the tape, they're planning Plan B. But we're trying. Yo, take the deal. There's no guarantees. What we ain't ignorant. Just talking. This what type of arrogance and ignorance that these countries are. These Caucasians, these Europeans are arrogant and ignorant. They just sit up there and talk to somebody like, sign it, do this. Give up. You're not going to do anything. Only a fool would. Nobody trusts nothing you say. How many treaties and you didn't broke? And somebody's just supposed to trust in you. Trust this. Your time is up. The message of the covenant is Master Fard Muhammad is about to make his move, and we'll see. And with that, I'm gonna bring this to a close and greet you in the greeting words of peace. Wait a minute. I'll see you tomorrow. 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, and 9 o'clock Pacific. It's up late update with Malik Hajj. Assalamu alaikum.